It's been a week since Typhoon Haiyan devastated the Philippines. We're taking a look at how the disaster is hitting close to home here in Centre County.
And as the controversy continues over the Washington Redskins name, we look at a high school in our area with a similar issue. But are they taking heat? The Centre County Report starts right now.
Good afternoon, I'm Eric DeBaradinas.
And I'm Tori Singer. Welcome to the Centre County Report. Police now have surveillance pictures in a case of anti-Semitic vandalism at Penn State. They hope you might recognize someone. Police say vandals targeted the Beta Sigma Beta fraternity last week. The predominantly Jewish fraternity had hate messages and swastikas spray painted on parked cars. Here are surveillance pictures from the crime scene. Penn State issued the following statement condemning the crime. Quote, "The recent hateful and offensive anti-Semitic vandalism directed towards Beta Sigma Beta fraternity is unacceptable in our community and should be unacceptable anywhere. Hateful behavior that feeds anxiety and division among us simply must not stand." Police are offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to an arrest.
It's been 1 week since Typhoon Haiyan devastated the Philippines, and help is slowly arriving there. Reporter Caroline Goggins spent some time looking into the disaster this week and how it's even touching our area.
Get international help to come here now, not tomorrow, now. This is really, really like bad, worse than hell, worse than hell.
The people of the Philippines are desperate and devastated. Typhoon Haiyan tore through the island country in Southeast Asia, wrecking buildings, displacing people, and taking lives. The impact is felt worldwide, including here in Centre County.
You can just look at the pictures, it's completely devastating. Most of these people lost everything. Some families lost everybody but one family member. Other people have been lucky enough to, survive, but most of the people haven't been that way.
As a first-generation Filipino-American, Paul Aldana says it's hard to see pictures and not get upset. U.S. troops arrived in the Philippines on Veterans Day to help.
We're working hand in hand with the Philippines, both of their armed forces and the national police, and we will help them in their need.
And so many are in need. Although food, water, and medical aid are now starting to arrive, more than 500,000 people are displaced, and friends and family are worried.
I first checked on my aunt, she said everything was okay, but she said the Tacloban got hit really hard, and I remembered, my friend Ivan was there. I remember him posting a status obviously in the native language, like, this is crazy, like the storm is ridiculous, I'm so worried about my family.
8,500 miles away from his Filipino roots, Aldana wishes he could do more.
10,000 is a very large number, especially when, I come from that country, and, I've been there. It hurts that I'm here, and I can't do anything. Because I would love to go there right now and help out, but it's not possible. And so that's why we're just trying to do our absolute best to fundraise as much as we can, just get awareness out there.
Now, if we compare a few major storms in recent years, we can see that Hurricane Sandy last October left 285 dead. Hurricane Katrina, which hit New Orleans in August 2005, had a death toll of 1,833. Now, sources are reporting that the current death toll in the Philippines is 3,621, but government officials estimate it may reach as high as 10,000. Now back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Caroline. Penn State's Filipino Association will hold a fundraiser for typhoon victims on December 4th. Details are still in the works, but there will be many student performers and plenty of chances to donate. We'll keep you updated.
A Centre County business says it's going to rebuild after a fire ripped through the building. It happened Sunday night at Scott's Landscaping in Center Hall. Nearly 100 firefighters responded. The building that caught on fire housed a garage with offices and 3 trucks. The building is a total loss. But Scott's Landscaping has insurance and plans to rebuild. They say it'll be 9 months to a year before another building is up. For the time being, all projects are being done and no employees will be affected. In a 5-4 vote, Bellefonte Borough Council decided this week to tear down the historical Garmin Theater. Reporter Rachel White talked with residents and board members about the decision.
If you were at the council meeting on Monday, you'd think most residents of Bellefonte want the Garmin Theater to stay. But Borough Manager Ralph Stewart said that's not the case.
There were not 6,200 people at that meeting.
He says most in Bellefonte realize why council made the tough decision to demolish the building.
There's a financial concern that cannot be overlooked.
A heated debate has raged ever since a fire destroyed the theater last September.
We want to restore the building, and we're optimistic.
Keith Koch refutes the money trouble, claiming the borough is taking the easy way out.
For the borough, it's an easy fix.
If all goes according to council's plan, the new building would feature retail on the first floor and workforce housing above that.
At the end of the day, we'd have 3 properties back in use versus one very questionable adventure with the Garmin.
Even though Borough Council voted on Monday to demolish the Garmin, many residents in Center County are not willing to give up their fight to save the building just yet.
There will be a new appeal hand-delivered to Harrisburg. We are fighting this because there may be other buildings that go in the same direction, and this town, which advertises itself as a Victorian town, is going to lose other buildings if they're not preserved. And I wish our town fathers were more concerned about history and the future of this town.
The borough's plan calls for the building to be torn down by February. In Bellefonte, I'm Rachel White. For the Center County Report.
The Bellefonte Historical and Cultural Association filed a request in Harrisburg yesterday to hold off on demolition.
Prosecutors are rejecting a filing by Jerry Sandusky to take his case to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Sandusky argued in a filing to the High Court 2 weeks ago that he believes his lawyers were rushed to trial and did not have enough time to prepare their case. But prosecutors said in a filing posted yesterday that Sandusky hasn't presented any important reasons why the Supreme Court should consider his appeal.
A proposed bill that would expand DNA testing in Pennsylvania to include suspects charged with any felony or misdemeanor is getting mixed reviews. Current law only requires those convicted of a serious felony to submit a sample. After a hearing this week, the American Civil Liberties Union of Pennsylvania says the bill contradicts the concept of innocent until proven guilty. And even the state police are skeptical about the bill.
There's been a lot of criticism about certain sports team mascots in recent years. The most well-known is the Washington Redskins. Reporter Tristan Plunkett looks into the controversy and visits a school in our area that also has a similar name.
I'm here at Bellefonte Area High School, where in the past the school has received some complaints about its mascot, the Red Raiders, and its symbol of an American Indian chief. In a time where these mascots are creating some sort of controversy nationally, the students here say that this one is a symbol of pride rather than prejudice.
No, I don't really care that we're the Red Raiders at all. Like I said, I think it's a fun costume actually. Like I think it's fun to become something you aren't and still respect a different culture, because that's all we're doing. We're just having fun in different ways.
I think it's just a part of encouraging our sporting teams. It really has nothing to do with the Red Raiders or the Native Americans. It's just something to get us up on our feet and supporting our school.
Many agree with that, but it doesn't stop some American Indians and other activists from speaking out against these mascots. Just last week, there was an 800-member protest at the Minnesota Vikings-Washington Redskins game. I spoke with Richie Plass, a member of the Menominee and Stockbridge-Munsee tribes, who helped organize this protest.
It reiterates and confirms in my mind that 2 things. People don't know us, and the other thing is they don't want to know us.
But more people are noticing. The issue has ignited a national debate on the use of Indians as mascots, especially the Washington Redskins. On some levels, change is happening. According to Capital News Service, 28 high schools nationwide have dropped their Redskins mascot in the last 25 years. The NCAA has also intervened with some college mascots, but at the pro sports level, it remains difficult to revamp an entire organization's identity.
At the professional level, it really comes down to a decision by an individual team in the NFL. In this case, when we're talking about the professional team in Washington, right, it's the owner there. The NFL has chosen not to step into this controversy.
Still, is there a change on the horizon?
It just seems like that public opinion is starting to roll up, that more and more people are coming out against it, that it might actually be possible one day for the name to change.
I'm optimistic there's going to be changes made. And I think one of the main reasons it's going to happen is because it's the right thing to do.
Reporting for the Center County Report, I'm Tristan Plunkett.
Redskins owner Dan Snyder has said his team will not change its name while he is in charge. Although with enough public protest, many officials think that change may come sooner than expected. Coming up on the Center County Report, find out where the Boalsburg Farmers Market is moving.
Plus, we're live at Beaver Stadium to preview tomorrow's Nittany Lion football game. And we take a look at how far some local people are going to go green.
Penn State has made it a key goal to go green and become more environmentally friendly over time. Reporter John Blauvelt shows you what the university is doing to reach that goal.
Talk about getting your hands dirty. Welcome to the East Halls Recycling Challenge.
I think this sort of project definitely makes an impact where it comes to learning about these systems.
The point of the challenge is simple. See how many recyclables are in the trash and figure out which building is reducing the most waste. Then the challenge also helps Penn State see how it can improve its recycling system.
What we're learning from these audits is that folks are not composting their food scraps. And so it's something that we need to do a better job of educating people on its availability, how to do it, and really why it's important.
The general rule is if you can eat it or if it decomposes, you can compost it. You can find bins in residence halls across Penn State's campus. And as I found, composting cuts down on the trash that has to be hauled to the landfill, which ultimately reduces carbon emissions. Once processed, Penn State also sells it as top cover.
We create so much compost and it brings money into the university, but no one knows about it.
So the next time you finish up your juicy apple, think twice before you put it in the trash, because you may be doing more harm than you really know. Reporting for the Center County Report in State College, I'm John Blauvelt.
For more information about Penn State's sustainability efforts, visit sustainability.psu.edu.
The Boalsburg Farmers Market has a new home for the winter, indoors at St. John's United Church of Christ. From now until May of next year, all that fresh produce is tucked together in just one room. With over 21 active vendors, the popular local market sees foot traffic from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. every Tuesday. Local residents are happy to exchange a few dollars for a lot of fresh produce. Vendor John Eisenstein has been a part of the market for more than 9 years and explains what it means to him.
We've been going to Boalsburg since 2005. It's a good market. It's got a lot of good community support. One thing we see at Boalsburg, we see a lot of regular customers come through every week, rain or shine, and that's really gratifying for us.
Parking is free every Tuesday for the market on North Church Street in Boalsburg. And now over to Travis Patterson with the weather.
Well, that midweek November chill will be a distant memory for this weekend. We have a bit of a warm-up in store and could be flirting with 60 degrees by Sunday. And for the main part, we stay dry this weekend. Right now, we're at 50 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Those skies are kind of a milky appearance, but nonetheless, we will warm up into the mid-50s by this afternoon, and southwest winds at 5 to 7 miles per hour. That is the main factor for the weather this weekend. When we have southwesterly winds, that brings in the warmth from the south. Typically in November, we see northwesterly winds, which usher in much colder Canadian air, but that warm southwesterly flow will lead to an above average day across Centre County today. Average is about 48 degrees for today, but we will reach 54 degrees in Millheim and Centre Hall and around 51 degrees in Phillipsburg. And that warmth and mild air will linger for tonight, so no more overnight lows in the mid-20s that we've previously seen this week. We'll generally range in the upper 30s tonight, with 37 in Port Matilda and 38 both in State College and Bellefonte. So a mixture of clouds and sun today. We see more sun for the day on tomorrow. So for your tailgate forecast at 10 a.m., around 47 degrees. We could start out the day with some sprinkles or some mist, but by game time, we should be dry, and we do have some more warm weather in the forecast for this weekend. It continues into Sunday. Look at that. We top out around 61 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Some scattered showers around, but a front will run through the area Sunday into Monday, bringing some more steady rain and gusty winds as well as some cool air. So enjoy the warmth for this weekend, because once we hit the high of 54 degrees on Monday, our temperatures will start to drop off back to reality with temperatures in the low 40s and overnight lows back into the 20s.
So it sounds like this is our last weekend to enjoy the warm weather before breaking out those winter jackets for good.
Yeah, you can stash away the coats for now because it's quite mild for this time in mid-November.
Thanks, Travis. Now we go out to Beaver Stadium, where Willie Jungles is live with sports.
Thanks, Eric. I'm live outside Beaver Stadium where Penn State football will look to bounce back versus Purdue tomorrow. Plus, the #1 ranked women's basketball team invades Happy Valley. We'll talk about it in sports coming up after the break. Hey, I'm Willie Jungles, live outside Beaver Stadium with your sports. As you can see behind me, there are no campers. That's because Nittanyville is not camping until 3 o'clock today due to the weather. But as Travis just showed you, and as you can see, it is gorgeous down here. Now, the big question is what Penn State football team will show up in Beaver Stadium tomorrow. They've been inconsistent all year. The one thing they've been consistent at is turning the ball over, and it's been a major problem for the Nittany Lions.
When you're a ball carrier on our team, you're carrying the hopes and dreams of this football team.
Is that too fast? Bill O'Brien knows it must improve. Throughout this inconsistent season, one thing has been a constant. Penn State is turnover prone. The Nittany Lions have the worst turnover margin in the Big Ten.
One of the things is some of them we look at and we say, you know, there's a couple times where the defense made a good play. But there's other times that it's just, you know, to me, a complete lack of focus. To me, you know, we just have to execute better and emphasize that in coaching. But there are technical aspects to it, Willie, like you're saying, and that's what we try to coach.
At 5-4 and no postseason eligibility, many have wondered what exactly Penn State is playing for. O'Brien and his players, however, aren't wondering at all.
It's been an up and down season, but, you know, we just continue fighting through. And, you know, we just want to get better. So that's all it's about, just being resilient. That's one thing Coach O'Brien preaches to us.
People question what is there to play for. There's a lot to play for. You know, there's the respect of your opponent. There's your teammates. There's the tradition of Penn State football. At Penn State, there will never be a question of what is there to play for. Let me put it to you that way.
Now, Penn State should have little trouble with Purdue. The Boilermakers have lost 7 in a row and are being outscored 193-31 in Big Ten play. Now over to high school football, where Tyrone has a huge playoff matchup tonight as they attempt to clinch a spot in the AA District 6 championship game. The Golden Eagles will head to Johnstown tonight to face the Richland Rams. Richland is the #1 seed in District 6, and they beat Ligonier Valley 46-6 to advance to this evening's game. Tyrone will have to be nearly perfect tonight to beat the undefeated Rams, but the Golden Eagles are up for the challenge.
They don't want this thing to end, and they know they have an incredible challenge tonight. And they're all committed to going out there and playing as hard as they can play for 48 minutes and keeping themselves in this game and seeing what happens at the end.
The winner of tonight's game between Tyrone and Richland will face the winner of Forest Hills and Central next weekend at Mansion Park in Altoona. Now, Penn State women's basketball with a golden opportunity to shock the basketball world this weekend. The Lady Lions welcome in defending national champion UConn, led by Hall of Fame coach Gino Auriemma. Connecticut is coming off a blowout victory over third-ranked Stanford, but will be without preseason All-American Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis. Penn State has had a week off to prepare for the Huskies and will attempt to defeat them for the first time since 1983. Tip will be at noon on Sunday at the BJC. Meanwhile, the men's team will look to bounce back after suffering their first loss of the season Wednesday night at home to Bucknell. The Lions will travel 3 hours to Philadelphia, where they'll take on the Penn Quakers in the famed Palestra. It'll be the first of 2 consecutive opponents from Philly, as the Lions will return home next week to take on LaSalle Tuesday. Tip-off versus the Quakers is set for 2 p.m. tomorrow. And a big series took place and kicked off last night at Pagola Ice Arena last night. Men's hockey welcomed in one of last year's Frozen Four participants in UMass Lowell. The 13th-ranked Riverhawks rode a superb performance in net by sophomore Connor Hellebuck to a 4-0 victory. Penn State dropped to 3-4-1, while UMass Lowell will go for the 2-game sweep tonight when the puck drops at 7. The game is sold out. And what seemed improbable months ago is finally happening. Yes, it is happening. Matt McGloin will be starting for the Oakland Raiders this weekend. According to multiple reports, the quarterback has been taking first-team reps in practice for the Oakland Raiders in wake of starting quarterback Terrell Pryor's sprained MCL. The former walk-on is slated to start in Houston against the Texans. McGloin would be the first Penn State quarterback to start in the NFL since Kerry Collins for the Colts in 2011. Also in sports, Ed Ruth will not travel with the wrestling team this weekend. According to head coach Cale Sanderson, Ruth violated team rules earlier this week. A lot going on in sports this week. Hopefully they can get a couple wins here at Penn State for Tori's birthday, and we'll see if they can make that happen. I'm Willie Jungles outside Gate 8. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Willie.
Now, Tori, are you much of a singer?
You know, despite my last name, I'm really not much of a singer. I'm better at listening to music than singing it.
No skill.
Not much, not much.
That's quite unfortunate. Coming up, we'll give you a sneak peek of an internationally acclaimed throat singing trio.
You may know of bands My Hero Zero and Go Go Gadget, but last night State College experienced something the town has never heard before. WPSU Studios welcomed Tuvan throat singing group Alash as part of their Acoustic Brew concert series. The men performed the ancient singing technique learned from their ancestors, but with a modern twist. Each song and sound stems from inspiration of the sounds in nature and unique stories that have been passed down for generations. Be sure to tune in next week as I take a closer look at the men behind the music.
The Trans-Siberian Orchestra is back in Happy Valley tonight. The band is celebrating 15 years of touring with an encore and final performance of their multi-platinum rock opera, The Lost Christmas Eve. The group is known for its elaborate concerts and charity work. The orchestra will perform tonight at the Bryce Jordan Center at 7:30, and a portion of proceeds from this event will benefit the Center County Youth Service Bureau. That's all for today's Center County Report. For more news, visit our website at centercountyreport.com.
And for breaking news, follow us on Twitter at Center County REP and on Facebook. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.